morning. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. For those of you who don't know me or are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Naomi Nachman and I'm about all the food all the time. I love food. I love shopping for food, cooking for food, eating at restaurants, anything food related. I'm a personal chef, a cookbook author. You know I keep plugging my book because it's Pesach time with about 2 and a bit weeks till Pesach. I cook for Shabbos, for people for Shabbos, Yom Tov. Anytime you don't feel like cooking, you can give me a call. Hope you'll tune in every week and hear about my exciting food adventures, kosher food traveling, sharing of great recipes, ideas, and hearing from my awesome guests. But I want to hear from you too. So keep those emails coming. I want to hear where you ate, what you made. So thanks so much for tuning in. And we have got a crazy, amazing show today in the studio. It's our last show before Pesach. I cannot believe it's Pesach soon. This is the sunset on Erev Pesach for us right here in the studio. And as we are, I'm going to be leaving to Florida soon to work at the Trump Doral in Miami for Ram Caterers. They are such an unbelievable caterer. They are still taking reservations because it's a huge hotel. And we can keep going because we make so much amazing food. Everywhere you turn, there's food. There's a tea room, a barbecue, 3 meals a day. Really, it's like 10 meals a day. There's cocktails by the pool. There's pass-arounds by the pool. There is non-stop food at Trump Doral. So it's amazing. The Florida sunshine is there, and we cannot wait. My family cannot wait, and my parents are coming too. So, yay. I'm very excited that they'll be joining us. So not a lot of restaurant eating for me this week. I can't give any restaurants a shout out this week because I've been so busy in the Pesach kitchen, but I hope you've all gotten your copy and I'm going to keep talking about it the whole episode. Perfect for Pesach. And I hope that you're enjoying some of the products that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. I'm having problems with my earphones, okay? Okay. All right, he'll figure that out. So between the cauliflower rice and the lasagna pasta, we've got so much going on, and the great wines. We've been talking to Gabriel Geller last week, so I hope you're all stocking up on your wines and getting ready. You know, my one tip that I would share with everyone is go to the supermarket early in the morning. You know, don't wait for later on the day. Don't go to exercise class or, you know, as soon as you drop the kids off the bus or you wake up in the morning, everyone's got different things going on depending on the stages of life. But get to that supermarket early in the morning. You will find it's much calmer. Shifra, do you see that in our neighborhood? Shifra and I both live in the 5 towns. Okay, you have a baby that keeps you up at night. Yeah.
But okay. No, it is true. It's either like really late or really late at night, like right before the store closes.
Yeah, I find like really late at night or really early in the morning, but really.
So you're more of a morning person. I'm more of a night person. So we each have our own like.
Right. When I was your age, I was also a morning person. Yeah, so we're just fixing our headphones here. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on here, ZK, but that's all right. We can go with the flow here. I think it's this thing that's not working well. Okay, it's okay. I don't need the earphones. It's fine.
Yeah, we're gonna plug this in here.
Okay. All right, let's see if that works. I like the earphones because I hear everyone really loud and clear. Okay. Little jiggling around. Okay, that's great. Thank you, everyone, for that. Okay, so in the studio today, I have 2 amazing guests. One of my guests, Adina Sussman, I have known since we're in seminary together.
A long time ago.
So Adina Sussman, welcome to the studio, as well as Shifra Klein, long-time friend of the 5 towns, and
it's great to be here again.
I'm so happy to have you before Pesach.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a long time. Adina lives in Israel, so there's a lot of coordination that went into putting this show on this day. We are meeting on a Tuesday. It's a different day of the week for us because I wanted to make sure that Adina could be here for the show. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I had a great morning walking around the Lower East Side. I picked up my bialys. I picked up my pickles.
That is so cliche.
I know. When you live in Israel, you miss some of those iconic foods, you know. So I just grabbed a few things on the way, including my hot sesame oil in Chinatown. Things that are, you can get almost everything in Israel now, but I don't cook Israeli food all the time. I'd say most of the time.
Right.
But so sometimes I pick up a few things here and there.
So talk to me about life in Israel. How long have you been there?
I lived in Israel after college for 5 years in Jerusalem, actually. And then I spent a long time in New York. And then I met my now husband 3.5 years ago, got married in June, and have been living in Tel Aviv right in the Carmel market for about the last 2 years.
And she's actually being literal. She like,
and if you follow her on Instagram like I do, you like feel like you're living in the market with her. So it's pretty amazing.
I feel like I shop there every day. I just don't get to bring home the produce.
Yeah, I was just telling Shifra, I've been to Israel for 2 years, and I've never been to the supermarket. I buy all my stuff there and all the little stores in the neighborhood. You know, once in a while, I went to Osherad recently for the first time, which is like the Costco of Israel.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I was like, get me back to the shuk.
When I left Osherad when I was in Yerushalayim, you went to the one in Jerusalem?
No, there are 2 in Tel Aviv now.
Oh, okay. So when I went to the one, my daughter was in seminary. So when I went to visit her, I went to the Osherad. I had to take 3 Motrins when I left.
Seriously. But yeah, so it's really great to be living in Israel. It was always a dream of mine. And the food life there is extremely inspiring. Seasonal produce and just incredible ideas from, you know, Jewish immigrant ethnicities from all over the world. Just every day I'm eating something new. I'm learning something new. I'm trying a new spice. I'm finding a new store. I'm learning about a new grape leaf from an Arab town. You know, it's constantly inspiring and exciting. It's just amazing.
I absolutely bet with Shifra and I like we're fangirling you.
That's so kind. I fangirl both of you too. So it's just, it just feels very natural to be living there. I'm sure you would feel the same way as people who love food, and you sort of undo some things you learn living in the United States without realizing it, and just replace them with certain habits, you know, like when you can get something fresher, you just go get it, you know?
Right. I've been obsessed now. I think you've been doing stuff with oranges, blood oranges.
Oh, the citrus. I just can't. So, you know, we got one of those hand cranked juicers, and I make all my own juice now. You know,
is it weird that when being stalked, I know that people follow me, but like there are people that I actually follow, and you being actually
I think it's people are following the shuk as much as me, because it's so compelling. Like it's, you know, I love to share it with people, but it's really just seeing the vibrancy and like the fact that it's like all in Israel just makes it extra exciting.
It's,
you know,
so exciting watching everything. Like with Danielle Renov from Peas, Love and Carrots, and she's in Yerushalayim, and she takes us through the shuk.
Yeah,
it's fabulous to see everything every day that goes on in your kitchen and her kitchen and in the shuk.
Yeah,
we don't have that experience here. I love the farmers market. We are a mile from the Union Square.
Yes, we are a mile.
And we are not, we don't take advantage. I lived on the Lower East Side for 10 years. I think I went there once.
Yeah.
Now I try to go in whenever I can. I bring ZK and I some goodies from, they have a kosher bakery there.
Yeah, right. I mean, life in Israel is busy like everywhere else. And I think if I lived a mile from the shuk, I'm not sure I would go as much as I go. But because I live right there, I really can take advantage of, you know, and just like having a beat on the micro seasonality of things is like something that I never did before in my life.
I've never heard that micro seasonality.
That means I just made it up.
No, but you know what? It means you're watching closely the slight changes in the season. You know, the food is changing minutely all the time.
How different does that fresh food taste?
You know, I was in Florida last week doing a dinner at the South Beach Food and Wine Festival.
Right. Yes, we'll talk about that.
And I made a Moroccan I did the Salatim course for a Shabbat dinner with Michael Solomonov and Michelle Bernstein and
let me shed a tear.
And Zach the Baker.
But I wasn't there. I'm just crying.
It was really amazing and I was super honored to be there. I was like, you know,
we could tell that about that.
Yeah, which is like, I think I'm always super grateful and honored to just be invited to do stuff like that and to cook around these people that have inspired me for so long. But I was making Moroccan carrot salad, and you know, the chef at the hotel provided those huge carrots, you know, that the giant, and I ate one and I said, does this taste like soap to you? And he said, no, this tastes like a carrot. But in Israel, the carrots are like super crunchy and juicy and sweet, you know, and they have a squeakiness to them, and they're just, you know, there are no carrots that large. Like that carrot was probably from China, you know, to be honest. And that's okay. I'm not judging. Like we all do what we have to do. And I'm in the States. I also shop like that. So some of the stuff really does taste fresher. Like obviously, like the cliches about the cucumbers and the tomatoes are really true.
Right.
Some things are you know, are on par, I'd say, with things that you get here.
But the strawberries in Israel, which is such a crazy time of the year that they're in season in January.
They're still in season.
For us, it's a summer fruit. June, July, August. I want to say
Yeah, there are no berries in the summer in Israel. They're in season now. They're incredible, and they go bad within you got to buy them and use them because unlike the strawberries here, which I don't know, I don't know what they do to them. They last forever, but they're you take them home and immediately they kind of start to beg to be put into something.
We wash them. We had an apartment when we were there.
Yeah.
And we washed them right away, soaked them, got off all the dirt and because they're a little bit dirtier. And we just ate them like flavor bombs.
Totally. They're incredible.
It's unreal. The fruits and vegetables in Israel are unparalleled.
Yeah.
Australia is also very good.
South Africa too.
South Africa.
Yes.
So I think
a lot of places have better produce than the United States.
Maybe it's not as
we're feeding
organic.
330 million people.
It's such a large country. Things have to travel really far to get to us, and the way they get to us is different. And also, by the way, a lot of new kosher restaurants in Tel Aviv.
It's unreal.
Near our house in the Carmel Market area, there are in the last year and a half, there are 3 kosher meat restaurants that open that.
It's fantastic.
And it's changing all the time.
How far are you from Sarona Market? Not too far.
We're about, in Tel Aviv, it's like they say in New Jersey, everything's a 20-minute drive away. We're a 20-minute walk from everything. So we're about a 25-minute walk from Sarona Market.
Oh my God.
Which is
amazing.
cool.
And they have at least 3 or 4 kosher places there also.
You're in Sarona now?
At Sarona Market.
And I went there 2 years ago. It wasn't so much, right?
There are a lot of the influx of French Jews living in Israel. They're all basically kosher. And also just the number of tourists who are now coming, many more people come to Tel Aviv than they used to.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
And just the business people,
I had Goose
Okay,
Deli
we have to
there.
go. I'm
I know,
going.
Chef.
That's
We
it.
need a trip.
Yeah.
we
Ladies.
need a foodie trip, and people can come with us on the trip.
you should do that.
We're going to do that. We're going to put this together. So let me give you a little bit of an intro to Adina. She's a cookbook author, a food writer. I took this from your blog because recipe development and consultant. She lives in Tel Aviv, as you heard. She has an Israeli cookbook coming out next year called Sababa, which is going to be put out by Penguin Mainstream.
Yes, mainstream
Publishing, which is so awesome. We cannot wait for
you.
that to come out. She's also worked with Chrissy Teigen and the Sprinkles cookbook, a baking book with Candace Nelson, which were both New York Times bestsellers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Kind of incredible.
Do you want to pinch yourself for that?
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun to work. I learn a lot from all the people that I get to co-author books with, and that's the main thing I love about it. Because working with someone like Chrissy Teigen, her mom is Thai, so I learned a ton of things about Thai cooking.
It's the best, right?
Amazing, and also learning how simple it can be. Which is what we all want is simple, delicious food. And Candace, I learned a ton about baking. I grew up feeling like I was just bad baker, sticky fingers kind of a thing, and I know more than I even realized I know just from working with her. So that was cool.
That was fun. We enjoyed that. You just did another shoot back in.
We did the second
couple
photo shoot for
months ago.
Chrissy's new book, which is coming out in October.
Okay, feels like in forever, but yeah.
I know it's coming out in October. They're anticipating that it's going to be pretty huge, so everyone's just gearing up for it.
Yeah, we're all excited for that.
I help her. It's her name's on the cover. It's all about her, and my job is just to help her get there, help her with her recipe development, help her with the writing.
Like Miriam for me.
Yeah, just all her. Oh, right. Oh, I didn't realize that until
Miriam,
just now.
Miriam Pascal.
Miriam Pascal, I'm a huge fan. I love you.
Okay, she's going to die when she hears that. She may be on the floor just
So
from
cute.
her ears ringing.
I'm I was just saying, I want to try and write an article about the kosher female blogger world because it's really a phenomenon. I find it incredibly inspiring, and it's the Jewish social media around food is almost all women generated, and it's very inspiring. And,
Except for Shlomi Klein.
Yeah.
Oh, and Eitan Bernath. But yeah,
Yes.
no, but you know what I mean. And
Yeah,
I just think
absolutely.
I see a real community growing there and people following you and really learning a lot and being inspired to not just cook at home, but to reach out of their comfort zone and cook new things. And I think it's really impressive.
We love each other. We really
I
support.
can tell.
We
I can
support
really
each other
tell.
a lot.
I've recently been in touch with a lot of you for different reasons, and I feel a lot of love and positivity there, and just it's really nice.
Right. It's a great group. I love
Yeah.
working with everyone.
Yeah.
I love being a supporter of kosher and friendship and
Yeah.
and people do notice that about
I think it's really unique, and I think you guys might not even realize how unique it is.
Okay,
Actually,
I'm happy to hear.
Yeah.
There's politics in there too. Let me just tell you.
there always are. I'm
Right,
sure.
but I think overall everyone's like loves being together, and
Yeah.
it's always fun when we're all together. We always have good laughs. So
And Kim Kushner was recently in Israel, and we hung out and walked around Levinsky Market, and she's always been a huge source of inspiration for me.
I love her.
Her food is amazing. She's such a classy person. She's so kind. And, I've done some charity work. She's donated books and signed them, and she's just always, there are different parts of the world, and I feel like what's nice is that there's a place for everybody and everyone can kind of shine.
we love Kim. She's been here at least twice.
Yes. Also a huge fan.
Okay, so one of the things that gave me a lot of nachas was when you were on the front cover of the Food and Wine magazine last year. Because that's one of my, besides all our fabulous Jewish magazines and Joy of Kosher,
Right.
which is, you all know, I love.
It's a great magazine.
I love
Great
Food and
magazine.
Wine, and it inspires all of
Yeah.
us, right, Shifra? Like we could
course,
say
yeah.
that. That when you're on the front cover there, I was like, oh my god,
I didn't know until it came out.
really.
Yeah, I mean, because it was just an article about Israeli food that was going to be in the magazine, and it was their travel issue. And I guess what they do is they go through all of the stories and they look for the most powerful images,
Right.
and they pick what looks like the most juicy. I'm sure you have a lot of experience
Yeah.
with this,
Right.
At Joy of Kosher. So there it was, the lamb pizza. It was like, oh my god, So that was really, and also mostly just really exciting because, again, to like shine a light on what's going on in Israel and to share it with a larger audience. And I can't tell you, I go everywhere I go, oh my god, I was just in Israel, or I have to go. Like, the food looks incredible. It's such an interesting place. There seems to be a real groundswell around what's going on there. That's sort of beyond politics and religion, like
Right.
more like a unifying cultural thing,
Right.
like gathering around food. Which
I
is
agree.
always
If we
a
could
great
all sit
communicator.
down and eat a meal together.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
You know what I say? There will be world peace if there was a Disneyland in the Middle East. 'Cause it's such a happy
Maybe
place.
there will be.
It's such a happy place, Florida. You walk around smiling at Disney World, and I'm like, why can't the whole world be like this? Like, there's just good food there, amusement parks. Let's just be happy. I love being happy. And
Yeah. So that was exciting. And that was a story mostly about restaurants. And an interesting thing about restaurants in Israel is that they often open and close quite quickly. So
like any restaurant.
Yeah, the restaurant
It's a tough
industry.
industry, kosher or not.
But there are some really great places in Israel to eat. And also, I just think another thing that's increasing is the ability to go into people's homes and learn how. I think what's really powerful about Israel is that more than 100 immigrant groups, Jewish immigrant groups, live there. And, you can find a way to learn how to make, kuba from an marak kuba from an Iraqi woman, or you can learn how to make something Bulgarian, and
Khachaporia.
exactly. And that's what people want to do, is that we want windows into other cultures, and we
Yes.
want to understand where these traditions came from beyond just eating them, and like being able to make them in this place, from these people, and hear the stories of their parents and grandparents. Like, it's very exciting and very moving to me.
Right.
Everyone has a story.
You saw A Taste of Israel. Is that what it's called? By
In Search for
Michael,
Israeli Cuisine.
In Search for Israeli Cuisine. I don't know.
I did see it.
I love that.
It's
I
wonderful.
loved it.
And then Phil Rosenthal just recently did. Do you know who he is?
No.
He's the guy who created Everybody Loves Raymond, and he has a new food show on Netflix called Somebody Feed Phil, and he did an Israel episode.
I have to see that.
It's great. It sort of picks up where In Search for Israeli Cuisine left off. Very high production value, very interesting. He talks to different people, some well known, some less. So I just think people are coming to Israel. I heard Andrew Zimmern might be coming to Israel to he has
Yeah, of course.
So-
I follow him too.
So I heard he might be coming to do something else in Israel. So people are interested.
You know that we did our show from the Shuk. We did Table for Two from Machane Yehuda. It was
No.
amazing.
Yeah, I always thought it would be really cool in Machane Yehuda to have like sort of a kitchen / radio studio where everyone would be gathering around watching different chefs and people
I
cook.
see that happening.
Right.
That's really cool.
Right.
And it would be open air. You walk up and get to taste things.
So we did
Yeah.
the show with Joel Haber. He walked us through the Shuk.
He's also an old friend of mine.
Yeah. Upper West Side.
From the old days, yeah.
I think I knew him a year in Israel. He's our age.
He is our age.
Yeah. So he walked us around the shuk, table for two. I didn't get to bring ZK with me. They found me a camera crew and we walked around the shuk. But a lot of farmers markets are doing what you said, where they have the cooking demos.
They should.
They need this in the shuk.
And what's really cool about Tel Aviv is on Fridays specifically, there are many pop-up restaurants. And Tel Aviv, Shuk HaCarmel is not as developed as Machane Yehuda. Surprisingly, you'd think because it's in Tel Aviv, it would be more sophisticated and, Shuk HaCarmel Machane Yehuda is very buttoned up. There's that whole restaurant section.
Right.
It's actually quite pricey. The produce is quite expensive. Tel Aviv, Shuk
it's more of a tourist attraction.
It's become a bit more.
Yeah, I've noticed the change since we went to seminary.
Oh yeah.
Look what was there used to be blood running down the street from like dead animals.
So there still is in Shuk HaCarmel. If the way they clean the shuk is at the end of the day, everyone dumps their produce into the center of the main aisle of the shuk, and then a big tractor comes and scoops it up, and if you're in the way, you get scooped up too. Like they're not stopping for anybody. And if it rains, they're about to do some renovations there, but the sort of loose nature of the shuk allows for a lot of creativity. So like on Friday, there are at least usually 5 or 6 pop-ups. Like someone last week I saw was doing like a pancake pop-up. There was one person doing something called the panda pop-up, which has become super popular.
What is that?
It's pitot, like stuffed with all kinds of things like meat,
like miznon,
kind of like miznon, but they have like a vegan.
But it's a new place in Chelsea Market.
Oh, cool!
Right. So miznon is Eyal Shani, the guy who sort of made the whole roasted cauliflower famous in Israel.
Okay.
And he has inspired a lot of cooks, and he has a chain of fast food places called Miznon. There's one in Sydney, there's one in Vienna, there's one in Paris, in the Marais, there's one in New York now. It's become like an international brand.
Amazing. Good for him.
As well as Michael Solomonov has Dizengoff, his hummus.
I just want to try the hummus from there.
It's really good.
I want to
it's
try
really good. It's excellent. And
I know I had the girls from Zoom here.
Oh,
they're on my show.
Buddies. Yeah, I love
they
them.
told me that they know you. So I had them. We did a whole show with them last
year.
year.
Is an artisanal tahina company. They import all the sesame seeds from Ethiopia and grind them in Israel and sell them in the United States.
Right. They were here maybe a year ago on the show. I met them at the Kosher Food Bloggers Conference. You've got to come to that next year.
When is that?
It's
that
Melinda Strauss runs it.
Yeah, in November, right?
In November, right.
Gil spoke last year.
Gil spoke. Yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah, he's one of my oldest friends in Israel. He helped me when I was first starting out in the food world. He shared so much information with me, and
we had him on the show ZK a few weeks ago by phone.
Isn't he incredible?
He's so articulate. I cannot believe that English is not his first language. Well, he's more well spoken than I am.
His great grandfather created modern Israeli Hebrew language.
I know.
So he's an amazing person, amazing writer, amazing storyteller. Incredible cook. He's like a class.
Did you hear him speak at the bloggers? He spoke at the bloggers conference, and everyone's jaws were hitting the floor when he spoke.
He's really special. He
teamed up with Liz.
His first memoir just came out in English called Candies from Heaven, and you can get it on Amazon. And it tells family stories of his family growing up in Jerusalem, and it's really, really interesting.
Yeah. I have a copy. He gave me a copy, signed me a copy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we had him on the show. I don't know, not even that long ago.
Yeah.
When you guys were together on Instagram, I'm like, my 2 favorite foodies.
It's the food world in Israel is really small.
Yeah, so every Israeli I know that's a cook knows you. What's his name? Lior Lev.
Oh, Lior, yes.
Yeah, we went to Laboat for a cooking spice class.
Cool. He's amazing.
So talented.
I mean, he's an incredible, also such an artist, and who knew that spices there was such a world behind the world of spices. You know, he goes all over the world and sources the most incredible ingredients from the most incredible places. He's amazing. His father makes olive oil on a small kibbutz in the north of Israel. You know, it's in his blood.
Foodies from way back when.
Yeah, I would say.
So how did the food scene in Israel become so big? It's out. I always mix up his name. Alon Shaya.
Yep.
Michael Solomonov.
Yep.
James Beard Award winners from the last 2 years, all Israeli chefs. What happened that hummus is the in thing? You know, they say sabra, the official NFL dip. You know,
I think that it's a combination of things. I mean, I think first of all, Israel had to kind of figure out internally what its food was about, and there was always hummus and tahina and shawarma, but what happened was, around the world, there was this revolution in realizing that like all the best ingredients are usually right under your nose. Like you try cooking from like
local sources.
What goes together grows together is like this thing that people say. And like, so all of a sudden they have amazing olive oil. They have amazing cheeses. They have incredible tradition of breads and different things. And then the younger generation of chefs traveled all over the world and picked up tons of knowledge, worked in Michelin star restaurants all over the world, and then came back and kind of combined their knowledge and understanding and like a modern approach, but not modern in sort of an experimental way, just modern in the way of respecting the local ingredients and figuring out how to use them and to celebrate them. And then I think that started to spread outward. And, it came at a time when maybe the world was not tired of, but, how much Thai cuisine can you have? How many hamburgers can you have? It is a whole different flavor profile that's very much based on olive oil and lemon and spice. And,
my mouth is watering.
And I can tell you, I like barely ate bread in the United States. Like, I just didn't think the bread was, now I can't not eat bread.
I know, we're in such a fattening business.
We are, but it's also the bread there sits better because it's fresh. It's sort of like eating sourdough bread in France. Like, it doesn't quite have the same impact as a bread with a lot of preservatives. And,
I love sourdoughs. I fed mine yesterday. I have to keep feeding it before Pesach.
And Chaya Suri, who made bread for my bake sale, which you so graciously organized.
Oh, it was amazing.
Like, I love looking at her Instagram and the beautiful breads that she makes. And
even that, like all these, am I saying right, artisanal? Like, I would try to say it like an American, but like all that is becoming popular.
I just think people are turning back to
their roots.
And also just making things at home and knowing where your ingredients come from and, realizing that it doesn't have to have a million bells and whistles to be delicious. It can be really simple and elemental, like using like just really good ingredients prepared really well. And also technique is really important, like knowing how to properly roast something, knowing how to make a loaf of bread, knowing how to make a delicious cookie, Are
we going to see this in Sababa?
Oh my gosh. The book. I'm so excited about the book. Oh my gosh.
It's Israeli cuisine.
It's Israeli cuisine through my eyes. And it's, there are a lot of Israeli books have come out in the last few years, like Michael Solomonov's Beautiful Zahav, and Alon Shaya's book is coming out in a couple of weeks.
Oh, really? I cannot wait to see. I didn't even know. And Ottolenghi?
Ottolenghi books are.
But he's not so Israeli.
He
dabbles.
He is Israeli.
Right.
But he claims to be a Mediterranean chef.
Right.
And he's not so interested in identifying as an Israeli, which is his prerogative.
Right.
His partner, Sammy, is Palestinian, and they wrote Jerusalem together.
I love Jerusalem.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book. So my book is going to have a lot of those different elements and then a lot of sort of how I see Israeli food, like through the eyes of an American living in the Carmel market, and how to use everything in ways that are simple and delicious and really celebrating things like pomegranate syrup, Ceylon, tahina, preserved lemons, and all the ingredients
Honey
that we
Applebaum
love.
will be platzing on the floor.
Why?
Because this is right. She loves this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, but also like just great dinner dishes and how to use, there's a recipe for like lamb chops marinated in zhug and with grilled lemons and onions, like all done in a cast iron skillet. Like, it's so good.
Were you practicing that the other day on Instagram?
I did. We did the first photo shoot for that book. And
because I was looking at that thinking, I need to know how to make this.
Yeah, it's like so simple. You just, if you make these few basic.
It's simple, but not.
Right.
Well,
delicious.
Actually, that's really simple. I literally take lamb chops, marinate them in zhug, which you can buy in the store now.
Is it spicy? Very spicy?
No, it's the fat and the richness of the lamb, and then there's just a little zhug on it, and I put some chopped mint in with the zhug, and then I scrape it off. I throw it in a cast iron skillet with lemon wedges and red onions, and like to me, that's dinner.
I saw that on your
sneak peek of the cookbook.
Yeah,
right
it's
here.
that kind of stuff, but everything
amazing.
has to have a really essential Israeli ingredient in it. And the other thing with my book is that. Yes, I make my own zhug all the time because a beautiful bunch of cilantro is like 50 cents in Israel, and you can get every amazing herb. They're 20 times better than any herb you can buy here. It's like 4 times as much, so I make zhug, but you can buy zhug. I make harissa because I like it a little less spicy.
What's the difference between zhug and harissa?
So
Ashkenazi over here.
No, that's a good question. Zhug is a Yemenite-based hot sauce that usually gets put in marak temani, like Yemenite soup, and it's used to cut through the richness of foods. And also hot sauce traditionally was like a preservative. Like if you put hot peppers in something, it make it last longer. And harissa is, or known in Israel as arisa, which I used to get confused because I'd be like, no, I'm not looking for arisa. I'm looking for harissa. And they're like, arisa. I'm like, harissa.
Tomato.
Exactly. So that is a Moroccan spice blend based on red peppers, also with spices in it. It's very hot. It goes into often goes into different like Moroccan fish dishes and just everything they use. Israelis really like spice. My harissa is based on, I roast red pepper, which you can also buy obviously. And then I put roasted garlic in it. Or you could just put regular garlic, and then it has a little honey because I like it a little sweeter. And then I use that as a way to, I use my harissa in a million things. I can rub it on chicken. You can serve it with fish.
And this will be in the book, the recipe.
All in the book.
Yeah, we're going to have a Dina's recipes.
Yeah, so anyway, the point is I find there's constant inspiration in these ingredients that Israelis see. Sometimes Israelis tend to see the use of their ingredients sort of confined by the ethnicity from which they come.
Right.
So like there's a pancake called lachuch. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a big, it looks like something a cross between a crumpet and an English muffin and a pancake.
Right. They sell it at by us at
Geffen
Gourmet.
Right. So in Israel, like that's another, like the Yemenites are the champions of bread. Like Gil, who's half Yemenite, says that the Yemenite cookbook has 2 pages, the first and the last, because it's like all bread and like rich, heavy foods. But they have amazing breads like kubane, lachuch, malawach, like jachnun. All these breads are Yemenite, and they're all now national snack foods in Israel.
Right.
But lachuch to people is like a savory thing that you use to dip into Yemenite soup and like soak it up. But I view it as a pancake. So in the book, I'm serving it as like a breakfast stack with butter and jam because it's a pancake.
Yeah.
And it soaks up all the sauce,
really cool.
So, but you can do it both ways. But an Israeli would see that and think,
yeah, an Israeli would, they would have a lot to say about it.
And that's fine. But obviously I serve it with my Yemenite soup also.
Right.
But I really think the point is I don't like recipes or ingredients that you use once or make once and then sort of like never go back to because they feel like used up. So like that's why if you're going to buy a jar of slug or make it, like let's find 5 interesting ways to use it as opposed to just the traditional way.
Right. I love it. If you had, not including salt, 3 ingredients you had to take with you to a desert island and cook.
Well, I'll stick with Israeli ones because I'm writing an Israeli cookbook. So for sure, tahina.
Yeah.
No question. Lemons and preserved lemons are for sure number 2.
Okay.
And then my personal like obsessive food is eggs. Like I make eggs all the time for every meal of the day.
Okay.
But if it wasn't that, I would say like a staple ingredient, olive oil.
Olive oil. Okay.
For sure.
Shifra?
Oh boy. I'm much more basic, but like I'm thinking of like we're going to be so hungry. I have to bring chicken.
Yeah, you have to bring the main things. I'll bring all the pizzazz and you bring all the staples. Chicken,
chocolate.
Chicken and chocolate. Chicken, chocolate,
mole sauce.
Flour.
We have a mole.
No, because
flour.
we need dessert. Flour.
If we bring flour, we can make a million things.
Okay, so we're good.
We can bring a million things.
I'm bringing Vegemite. No, I'm just joking.
You're gonna have a lot of leftover. You're gonna have a lot.
I know, but Vegemite. You put in a little soup. It adds a lot of real umami flavor. So don't knock the Vegemite. It might not be good on bread. I mean, I like it on bread and toast, but you can put it in a bunch of things. So, okay. So where are you off to next? Back to Israel?
I'm going back to Israel on Saturday night. And I'll be there finishing my book through early summer. Okay. And I'm also working on some other projects at the same time. I still write my food column for Hadassah magazine. Often it's like about a new cookbook that comes out or like something interesting that's going on in Israel.
Okay.
And I will be there. If anyone wants to find me, just look for the tall redhead in the
shuk, right?
Yeah.
I saw that you met Hilla Solomon. You were very excited.
Hilla Solomon,
yes. I make one of her recipes that I love. It was
she's just someone who I've heard about for years. I never made it to her spoons in Jerusalem, and now she's in Jaffa and Tel Aviv. I bumped into her in Shuk Carmel.
It's so cool who you meet at the shuk, right? I can go.
And people see me, and people who have known me from Instagram and stuff like that. Like it's really fun. It's fun. It's fun and funny to me. I find it funny.
Can I take a picture with you? I'm like,
yeah, that doesn't happen to me so much. But yeah, no, it's cool, and I feel really lucky to be living in Tel Aviv, and lucky to be living with my husband Jay.
And
Jay,
oh, they're so cute, newlyweds. But how did you meet Jay? If you were
my friend Jessica Steinberg, who is the culture editor of the Times of Israel, we've been friends since the 90s, and she knew Jay, and I was single, and she proposed that we meet, and he was in New York on a business trip, so we went out on a blind date.
And he lived in Israel.
He's been living in Israel for more than 30 years.
Okay.
And he's divorced. He has 2 grown kids, and we were both
heaven.
looking for love.
Oh,
and we found it.
They're so cute
amazing.
together on Instagram. It's great. I love it.
And yes, it's very exciting.
A bunch of our friends went to Israel for the wedding, and we watched vicariously.
Yes,
through.
it was really amazing. And Erez Komarovsky, who's like an incredible Israeli chef, cooked our wedding, which was like one of the highlights of my entire life.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really exciting, and we'll be there for Pesach.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask, where are you going to be for Pesach?
We're going to be.
Is your dad coming to you?
My dad will be in Palo Alto. He just got back from a 6-week trip around the world, so he's
nice.
resting a little bit.
Okay, good.
But we're all going to meet in June in New York for my twin nephew's graduation from TABC.
Oh, very nice.
But I'll be in Israel, and I'm making Seder for the 2nd year in a row with my husband's.
One night.
One night.
Oh, yeah.
One night.
Reason to make Aliyah, people.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I have your wonderful book, and we will be using it.
Yay, I'm very excited. I'm very honored. Okay, so I was going to ask something about Pesach. And
one thing that's really lacking in Israel is, funnily enough, is like some good... There's one kind of roll that they have, like a fake bread roll, and it's just not good. There's so much amazing Pesach food in Israel. But like that, I feel like if you go to like your Pesach program, you guys probably make incredible rolls and different kinds of breads, right?
You can have a sandwich.
Yeah.
You can have a grilled cheese panini. I actually bother by it. Like I'd rather
it's a little weird, right?
It's weird. And we also have sushi and pizza and barbecues. Like
what's in the sushi?
Like in my book, cauliflower rice.
Oh, cauliflower rice.
Or quinoa.
Oh, quinoa.
Quinoa. They do quinoa.
Do a mix.
Yeah.
So and now we have this the cauliflower rice for Pesach.
Sephardim have it so easy.
I know that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're Sephardi, you're having real rice.
I know. It's whatever. But not all Sephardim eat rice. I've just learnt that. Moroccans
and some
do.
Ashkenazim do, the ones who moved to Israel.
Right.
Yeah, they're like they take on Minhag HaMakom and then move on.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Yeah.
Minhag HaMakom. When I go to Israel for Pesach, I want to keep one day.
Right.
I was there, and
I think some people do.
My husband said I have to keep 2 days. So it was it was torture.
Yes. Yeah, but I think with Pesach, like a good rule to follow is just cook great vegetables and things that without a million substitutes. I mean, it can get boring, and that's why it's fun to do things that are different. But like for your basic everyday kind of,
I always say olive oil, salt, and garlic. Different vegetables every day. Just rotate your vegetables. Do roasted asparagus for a meal.
You should join like a Chabad family, like my husband's, for one Seder.
Gebrach?
We don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't do.
And my husband's family doesn't do anything.
So what do you eat? Just like a big hunk of roasted meat?
Pretty much meat, potatoes, only peeled vegetables. Not all vegetables.
But that would be good for one meal. That would be okay for one meal. But
it's good for one meal. Join it, and then you'll love Pesach wherever you are. It doesn't matter what your restrictions are.
Are there any special are there specific Lubavitch kashrut things for Pesach?
Yeah, you can't eat anything. Nothing.
Yeah, the peeling is very strict.
Peeling of all vegetables.
They peel the tomatoes.
Why is there
we have these discussions
because in case it touched bread on the outside,
and also like
peeling tomatoes.
Yeah, peeling tomatoes.
Can
peeling
make really
peppers.
good sauce.
But you can
peeling peppers.
Yes, there is also
you can buy
schmaltz.
a peeler.
Some people don't do oil.
Oh,
and they cook everything with schmaltz. So you're like
really
fleshik the entire Pesach.
So no oil, no cakes, then.
Well, if you want even potato starch, like this is not everybody, but I'm just saying like the more
potato starch, right?
Yeah, you have to make your not so some people.
Wait, eggs, yes.
Eggs, yeah.
Okay.
So some people,
you can peel it.
yeah,
Right.
it has a peel. It's a mix. Some people do eat products from the store, but some people don't.
Right.
So like some people don't buy potato starch. No, they don't buy ketchup. No,
they make their own sugar.
Yes, sugar water.
Right,
Liquid sugar.
It's how do they make that? Do you know?
Yeah, you boil the sugar with water, and then you use that. But
As
you
like
can't
a simple syrup.
It's a simple syrup. You basically make simple syrup. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
So it's a whole different level of
It's a whole
Pesach.
different. So let's catch up with Shifra a little bit. How's it going with the whole new branding we've got going on?
Yeah, it's going really,
JamieGeller.com?
it's going really well. Actually, Jamie was just on the Today Show. She was like the first, I think, Jewish personality booked not connected to a holiday. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, that's
Because
great.
it wasn't for Pesach. It wasn't for Rosh Hashanah.
Was that when she did the brisket?
It was for brisket. Yeah.
Right. So when I went on to California to do something for this book on Home and Family show on Hallmark Channel, they wanted brisket.
Yeah,
like
brisket.
They think that that's what Jews eat is brisket.
You know
we
what?
need to break that.
You know what? At the end of the day, though, like I'm saying this from the perspective, exactly, from the perspective of like seeing what people do click on and what people search, brisket is probably the most popular. It resonates.
I was on this panel with Joan Nathan and Alon Shaya in South Beach, and Joan, she started it by asking the audience, what to you is American Jewish food? And brisket was number one.
I don't
Number one.
Yeah. Maybe 20 years down the line, things will change, but right now it's still brisket.
It's still brisket and Manischewitz wine.
This flunkin butternut squash soup looks so good.
It is so good.
I'll be making that.
Yeah.
That looks delicious.
Adina's
beautiful picture.
Adina's flipping through my book. Do you have my book?
I'm getting inspired for Pesach with Naomi's book.
Okay. So, Shifra, what when you do some meal prep, right? And it's, you have big family on both sides. You both come from big families. How do you prepare? Let's talk about how we can get our viewers, our listeners geared up for Pesach with 2 weeks to go.
So, I mean, I think that number one, like Adina was saying before, simple food is so good. Like, don't go crazy and get overwhelmed by trying to do so much. Literally, if you we were talking about brisket, take a 2 cup brisket with onions and put it in the oven, and you got yourself like an amazing roast. So you don't have to.
You don't have to go crazy.
Yeah, you really could. So number one, like, take a step back and like realize that like you could keep things simple, and cook with a few good ingredients, but do it well. Also, do things that you can make in advance, that you can freeze and serve serve by the Seder. Like if you do a brisket or if you do a chuck roast, those are things, soups, exactly. Yeah. Soups can freeze well. Even potato kugel. We have now a cauliflower potato kugel that we just released a video of Jamie making the cauliflower potato kugel.
So it's like a low carb.
It's a low carb potato kugel, but like it's made with cauliflower and a little bit of potato, so you get that flavor, but mostly cauliflower.
That's such a great idea, and
it's so good.
So if you freeze potato kugel, and this is a tip in my book as well, it goes freeze it to oven. We never defrost kugels. That way they get soggy. So
I think it's better not to.
It goes from the freezer to the oven, heat it up low and slow, lid on, lid off, whatever you want to do. It works great, but do not defrost that kugel.
Yeah, that's a good tip. And also something really fun to try if you're looking to try something new on Pesach is to sous vide. That's something really fun to try, especially around Pesach.
Do you need another sous vide machine?
That's a good question. You have to ask the okay.
Maybe.
It doesn't get so hot. Do you maybe just need to dip the end in hot water?
We should ask the okay.
Let's ask the okay.
Yeah, because I think they did a feature on sous vide, and they did
Rabbi Fogelman.
Yeah, you have to call him because they just did a story on sous vide, or they're doing the story. It's coming out in next week or so about sous vide and Shabbos. Because the sous vide technically, once it's on and you drop the bag in, it's a constant temperature. It's almost like a crock pot.
I was just going to say.
So technically, can you take it out? Like, how do you cook with it on Shabbos? But sous vide, we had in last year's issue, the chef's wife did.
I love Adina Moss.
Yeah. She did a sous vide chuck roast. And what was incredible about it was that it was an economy cut. I mean, as economy as a kosher cut could get, because it's so expensive. But it tasted like a rib roast.
Because it just gets so tender.
It gets so tender and juicy. We seared it before, actually. We sous vide it.
Before?
Yeah.
Not after.
Before, because what happened was, the technique was, sear it, sous vide it, and then make this crust and put it back in the oven to warm through with a crust. So, it was just really good. But what was incredible was the results. I was really astounded. It was amazing.
I've not had.
Do you want to tell everyone what sous vide is for those who don't know?
Yeah, I've had a little trouble with that. Okay, it means would you want to do it?
It's cooking food in a sealed environment on low temperature in water, and you vacuum seal the food in a plastic bag, sort of like when you get that machine at Costco where you vacuum seal food. It's kind of the same idea, and you put all kinds of herbs and flavorings inside the bag, and the vacuum sealing, removing all the air from the bag, like really infuses the food, and also the food like continues to baste in its own juices. So if it's meat, it never loses all the juices of the meat. And then usually when you're done, it can cook for hours at a time because it's at a low temperature, but it's safe because the water is circulating at all times. It's not like a still environment. And then usually afterwards you take it and sear it in a pan, because the one disadvantage, kind of like the Instant Pot, is that it doesn't give any texture to the food. So the flavor is amazing, but you usually will brown it in a skillet just to give it a crust. So we thought this recipe was interesting because she said they brown it before.
Yeah. We did sous vide here on the show, didn't we? We've actually
well
done
said,
it.
Adina. That was
that was great. I knew she would do it better than me. I think sous vide means under pressure or under vacuum. Sous means under.
Sous is under,
and vide is pressure, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting technique.
It's becoming really popular, and you can buy a sous vide machine now for like $100.
Yeah, $50. I think
Anova, I think, is the one.
Yeah,
Anova.
There's and has an app. On my phone.
Yeah, you control it on your phone.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And what we're doing is we went and broke down, because there's so much information online for sous vide, but specifically with kosher cuts, it gets very confusing because you have the London broil, the shoulder London broil, the French roast, and then you don't really know how to adapt the not kosher recipe you see. So we are in the middle of creating a sous vide chart, like a kosher sous vide chart.
Thank you, because I'm having a really hard time with that.
Yeah, it's probably going to be available on the site March 13th.
Okay.
And you can download it, and and basically have it as a guide. So it breaks down like every single cut.
That's amazing.
We worked on it with Naftali from Grow and Behold.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He's an expert.
You met him down there in Florida.
I actually did not see him down there, and I didn't know he was there, but I know him.
You know him.
Before I moved to Israel, I was using his meat as much as I could. It's so good.
It's so good. We did last time we were in the studio together, we did right here in this spot here, cast iron pan, duck breasts. That was amazing. His duck breast, nobody else's. And now that it's becoming quite popular to use duck breast in the kosher world. There's Pele, there's Heritage, but I love them both. But I'm just saying Naf's is just
he's really
cut above.
And he's, no pun intended.
Yeah. But we love his stuff. I love that duck fat. I always save it off, pour it off, save it, and then I cook French fries for my kids.
Sure. Or
so fattening, but so good with pink Himalayan salt on afterwards.
Yum.
They live for that.
I'm sure. Lucky kids. Amazing. Lucky kids.
Yeah, they appreciate.
So you also do schmaltz.
I love schmaltz. I am not afraid of the schmaltz.
Best. Yeah. It's also very trendy now to use animal fats.
So we're going back to the basics again. Here we are.
Mark Bittman, the famous New York Times writer, says that you should use schmaltz and other animal fats as you might have cholesterol, but they're natural. So if it's that choice is that, or I know kosher Jews often have to use margarine on Shabbat, but if it's a choice between something like margarine or schmaltz, definitely go with the natural product that's rendered from an animal.
I've had beef fat in pie crusts that Naftali has made, and it's delicious.
Yeah, it's like kosher lard.
Yeah.
Basically. The same idea.
Oh,
flaky.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
We did some crazy pecan something with it. And it was a couple of years ago. But yeah, so it's amazing how the, food cycles change, and
totally
we're back to the beginning again.
Yeah, we're back to basics, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I'm very nervous with Pesach right down our necks, and I know everybody's on that very freak out mode almost at this time.
So you're still doing your Pesach catering?
Yeah, I have 139 quarts of soup in the fridge.
Wow.
A million kugels.
How many fridges
chicken.
do you have?
I have 5 freezers. I own 5 freezers, which only one stays plugged in all year.
And the rest are just for Pesach?
Since I've started my business, I've had to plug in a second one. Since Instagram, because companies send me a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I need a freezer for all that. So, but otherwise, it's a very organized business. People, for some reason, get very nervous about Pesach.
Oh, yeah, so they order early.
They order early, and I can only take X amount of orders. It's quality over quantity. And my husband and I always discuss, well, should we expand the kitchen? Should we do construction?
Yeah.
Is he going to? But I don't want it to be like. I want it to be quality over quantity, and just it is what it is.
What's your favorite item that you make, like something really special that you make for a Pesach?
I love making meats.
Mm-hmm.
I love to make meat. I love to slice roast, and there's nothing like slicing roast. And we're going to talk about this now.
Slicing roast, and then you get to eat the little pieces.
Nice. Oh, yeah, when we have to make duck and we save all the duck fat and we peel some potatoes and we fry French fries for our lunch. But nothing like good equipment. So I think we need to spend a minute about that. I bought for this year, I went to Home Goods to return a rug. And I saw on the side there a set of global knives.
Oh, those are great.
So I'm like, how much are those knives? They said $2 something for 5 knives. I'm like, can I have those knives? They said, sure. They are gorgeous. There is nothing like having a new knife. It makes light work. You can go through a butternut squash like it's a machete.
Yeah, it's also safer.
It's safer, and you cry less on the onions because you have a sharp precision on the blade. What's that? I don't know what that point is. It has a name. You know how a knife under a microscope goes like this?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
But the part that's the sharp edge is amazing. You can just skin off pieces of chicken, cut through skin of chicken. It's made a world of difference. Yeah. You have a good saute pan, a good knife, a good peeler. Let's talk about the peeler. We peel, Chabad peels a lot on Pesach.
Oh, yeah. I only use one kind of peeler.
Swiss Y?
Yeah, yes. They're just so...
Yeah,
I'm not Kunreiken. Yeah, Kunreiken or...
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's what I say it, but I think everyone says it differently.
What?
How do you say it?
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so embarrassing. Cone.
Yeah, I like it.
I say it the same way.
I think
you're probably right. I don't know. It's just how I say it.
No, I make up things.
But I like it so much better than the OXO side peeler because it's so unwieldy. And this one, you have so much control up and down. And they're like pens. You just replace them. They're like $3. So you just
I buy new ones all the time.
Yeah,
and
they're
they
amazing.
Get sometimes thrown out when you throw out the peels. You throw out the peelers. Oops. I go buy another bunch. I have different colours. Every year I change up my colours. But the sharp peeler every year goes right through the butternut squash. And because I keep talking about butternut squash because it's in the book.
Yeah. Also like a good cast iron pan or a heavy bottom skillet.
It makes
like to conduct heat well. Difference.
And get a big one. We cook a lot on Pesach. So get a 14-inch fry pan.
And try making like potato kugel on a cast iron. That's good.
I should do that. Oh,
it's very good.
I think in my...
Because you get that crust all over.
Try to make what in it?
Potato kugel.
Oh,
that's a great idea.
Yeah. We did actually... People really have a hard time with breakfast, so I'm just going to go back to the book. I hate to be annoying with it. No, I don't. I'm enjoying it. Here is... we did the shakshuka and the cast iron for the photo shoot, but you should just know, if I can find it, when we tested this recipe, we did this in a cast iron pan. It's potatoes. It's basically a potato cooker with cheese in it, cooked in a skillet. It was unreal. That cast iron skillet.
It gives a crispy. Yeah.
It's unreal. I'm
they're $15. A large cast iron skillet. You can get it at Walmart. It's such a deal. They're not expensive. It's like the poor man's Le Creuset or Staub. Like it does the same thing. They're wonderful.
Probably better even.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a enameled Dutch oven.
Yeah.
Love it. Does a beautiful job on searing. A lot of the recipes that we call for, we sometimes sear the meat, especially on Pesach, and cook it on the stovetop.
Yeah.
Get a good quality pot and pan. You can go to Peppermill. You can go to our good friends right there in Flatbush, the Kitchen Click. And they have all this stuff available. Some of them, I think, even have a mikveh. You can tovel it in, Sterling Electronics in the 5 towns.
And also keep your knives sharp. Like when you buy them sharp, you have to sharpen them. Like that steel that comes with the knives, that is good for like a few months. But if you really cook a lot, and a lot of your audience does cook a lot, you really should try and take them to a professional sharpener like every 6 months.
Do you know where there's one in Manhattan?
You can usually, as far as kashrut goes, I don't know if
you don't
matters.
you don't have to. So I've asked this.
So often, like houseware stores, not like a Bed Bath & Beyond, but like a local place, they have days, like ask them, they usually bring in a sharpener.
Like Williams-Sonoma.
Yeah. Probably. So like the Williams-Sonoma has like once every few months, you can bring your knives in and they'll sharpen them for you. Do that. And there's also a place, I wonder if Liz Rubin knows, because there's a place in Connecticut that I've you mail them to them, they sharpen them and mail them back to you. It's the greatest thing.
Cool.
Like do it. Like my tip is do it before you go on vacation.
Oh,
that's a good idea.
Like just and the trucks, but the trucks are a little bit less reliable. Like you don't want to if you bought a set of Global knives, I'm not sure you want to take them to the truck.
Okay, so my edge is all different now from the truck.
Oh,
It was
So
you need real pros.
You really do. It's an
sharpen your
art.
knives.
It's really
That's
an
a good
art.
tip.
I mean that they'll sharpen them
like-
for you, but like there's an art to it. It's like polishing a diamond because it's like
I didn't know that. Like it really makes a difference.
It really does. And also, like if you cut yourself with a sharp knife, it's going to be much less deep than with a dull knife. Like you just like it's like for every reason, it's like much better to have
I've
sharper
had
knives.
stitches in a lot of fingers.
Oh my god! And look at my burns from my recent photo shoot situation.
Tina, that is terrible.
I know because
That's
my
like 6 burns.
they moved the rack in my oven and like it was a different like going into the oven and I wasn't used to it and like it was all like in one fell swoop on each side. But
I wonder how many people have that like cooking for Pesach.
Pesach. I
right,
always
cooking
a lot.
I'll always come. Even for my catering business, I'll have a few. I've gotten better as I've gotten, more into the.
Because that reminds me of my mother. Every Pesach.
Here,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's the most popular recipe on your site? Is there like the most
Yeah, there
searched?
really is.
What is it?
It's the classics. I would say
Brisket.
potato kugel, potato kugel cups, brisket. Very surprisingly, this year we had the nougat. The South African nougat recipe was very popular.
Really?
Extremely
Sally
popular.
Mae's, right?
Yeah, so we have a version of it on the site.
Is it great?
It's a really good recipe, and
Like nougat candy?
Yeah, like the soft, chewy one.
Well, because that's hard to find kosher,
Right.
isn't it?
No,
I
so
guess,
there's a
but, like, I was
company now that has,
surprised.
from South Africa has imported it.
That one was surprising.
And what percentage of people who get recipes from your site are kosher or religious? Like, is it sort of broken
It's a
out far
mix.
beyond that?
It's
or-
a
Do you
mix.
know that?
and,
Do
like,
you know that?
I don't know it off the
Statistics?
top of my head. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
But I do know that like before Pesach and before Rosh Hashanah, we'll have a much larger percentage of people that aren't traditionally
Right,
kosher.
they're looking to how to make a
Yeah,
Pesach
and so this
meal
is the
or-
place that they come. And
Right.
so that's why also all the traditional foods are so popular.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
They're always really popular.
Even on Joy of kosher.com, one of Jamie's YouTube videos that she did for kosher.com has a very high viewership.
Which one? With the pies?
I
Pesach
don't know
pies?
when she did something for kosher.com and she went to a restaurant.
Oh. Yeah,
It
she
has
has a show on kosher.com.
Yeah, going
that
into
she goes
restaurants.
to restaurants. I think she just went to Allenby.
She
I
went
don't
to
know when they're
Allenby.
releasing
Oh
it.
my god!
We were just talking about.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Well-
I talked with the chef Elior about going. Maybe I can make it this week. I want to go.
I know,
They're open
it's-
for lunch, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for the lunch menu. It was very nice.
I went with my
It's
husband.
nice to
Smaller
go to a
menu.
place like that for lunch.
I think it was New Year's Day. I think we went and we sat down, and he'd never been. I'd already been. I went with Hani Melinda, and we sat there. So when I sat down with my husband, I said, "Okay, we're getting everything. We ordered the entire menu because it's a smaller menu.
Yeah.
So we
You did the lunch.
We did the whole lunch menu. Like everyone was like looking at the food coming out. I'm like, I have to try all of it.
Yeah.
It's a business expense.
Totally.
Right.
I love it. I love it. I love eating at restaurants. Oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. I love eating at restaurants as much as I love cooking.
Yeah.
I love eating out.
Well, I think kosher cooks, especially women, like you spend so much time at home cooking. Like you deserve to eat out.
Right. I like
You
the
make
a break.
so much food every week, and like the average citizen of the world, like a Shabbat meal for them is like a dinner party.
right.
Like that's what they think of as a dinner party.
Yeah.
It's something that you do week in and week out, and like I think that's why restaurants are becoming more and more popular.
Right, and
you
I
know,
love-
and there's such good stuff now that you can have
You
kosher.
can have every night.
and
you
that
go out to
doma
eat.
is fleishik
Yeah.
for
It's-
brunch. That's
for
such a, I
brunch.
think that's really brave and really smart because
They
it's like
did a
the
good
only
job.
place that does that,
Yeah.
right?
They did a really good job. I was very impressed.
What, with the brunch menu?
Yeah. Boris
Looks
was
very good.
amazing. He was so cute. He was coming out and talking. And I love when the owners come out of the restaurants and talk and schmooze. And like that. They
Yeah.
know their customers.
Well, you feel it when you go there. They're
there's
very
it's
good with
different.
service, which is so important, especially now. I
Right.
feel like that's something that we
It's a
can-
tough
yeah,
industry.
Yeah.
Restaurants open and close. We were talking about
Yeah.
that before. But if you can stay open a couple years,
Yeah, you
Right.
should be nice to your customers.
Right. I love my customers. Not 80% of my paid customers, maybe 90, are all repeats.
Uh-huh.
So It's because
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
I like to think I'm
Do
nice.
they pick it up from your house or you deliver it?
So a combination of both. As I cook, I have to drop it off because I don't. 5 freezers is not enough.
So then
I'm
they
like,
can just put it in the
right
freezer.
after Purim, expect some food, and then
Right,
I'll
kosher, right.
and then the last delivery they come, and that's when they pay me.
Very
So,
cool.
Yeah, it's all. But this industry, I was one of the first kosher personal
Yeah.
chefs. Now I'm a dime a dozen, which is good because there's enough to go around for everyone.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone, go to school and become a Pesach chef. You'll do well. Like, it's just people are looking for something. It's cheaper than a hotel. People want to be in their house, and it's a great thing to have. It's convenience.
I have a pop quiz for you based on
Okay.
our shared history. How many meals a day did we eat at Machon Gold?
5.
Yes. Can you name them?
Yeah,
Arughat Boker,
Arughat
Arughat
Esser,
Esser, lunch, Arughat Arba,
and
dinner.
Wait, and then what did we do after dinner? We went to
Angel's
Bakery.
Bakery. Yeah, and that was a good day. And every meal had at least 12 forms of carbohydrates.
At least. Oh, my God.
Probably 4 kinds
those
of
were the
potatoes.
days. I was a
Yes.
very lanky, skinny teenager. And after my year in Israel, that never came back. So,
Yeah,
Machon
exactly.
Gold. Those were the days.
Yes.
Ladies, this was amazing. I had the best time.
was so fun.
I've been
Thank you.
Dying to have you on the show, to have
Thank
you on with
you.
Shifra. Like, what a treat for us all.
Thank you.
To be together. ZK, thank you for
Thank
coming in so
you.
close to Pesach. I hope everyone is well. We've got Mark Zomick with the Erev Shabbat show. And then we have music sponsored by our friends at Kedem right up until Lich Benching. Everyone, I'm wishing you a Chag Kasher v'Pesach Sameach. You can email me with questions. I'm always happy to talk Pesach. Grab the book. Chag Sameach. Shabbat Shalom.